Imagine being trapped in a cage while the whole world watches. This isn't a movie plot. It is real life. And it happened to one of the biggest stars on earth. We are talking about Britney Spears. For over a decade, her life was not her own. She was under something called a conservatorship. You might not know that word yet. But it is a very heavy legal concept. It means someone else has total control over your life. They manage your money and your daily actions. This happens if a person is deemed unable to function. In Britney's case, the system decided she couldn't decide for herself. The year was 2007. She walked into a salon in Los Angeles. She wanted privacy from the prying eyes of the press. She told her bodyguards to close the blinds. She just wanted one moment of peace and privacy. But one of those guards did something shocking. He purposely opened the blinds over and over again. He let a hidden photographer take photos of her. It was a calculated move to expose her. Shortly after, she was hospitalized for many months. During this time, her father took control of everything. He became her legal guardian for years. He was paid a massive amount every single year. He controlled who she could talk to and see. He even managed her career moves during this time. Yet, the world saw something very strange happen next. She released a new album and went on tour. She performed in front of thousands of people for months. Every interview she gave was pre-recorded by others. How can someone be too broken to buy water? But they are perfectly capable of performing for millions. The math does not add up at all. It felt like the system was being used as a weapon. Then, something changed in 2019. A secret voice message reached a popular podcast. It came from a source who knew the truth inside. This sparked a massive movement called Free Britney. People started noticing the cracks in the facade. They began to question the motives of those in power. In one shocking moment, she stood before a judge. She claimed she was being held against her will. She said she was trapped in a facility. At the same time, her father claimed she had dementia. He used this as a reason to keep control. Then, something even more mysterious happened suddenly. The doctor overseeing her case passed away very quickly. It happened just days after an investigation began. Was that a simple coincidence or something deeper? Her own children eventually became involved in the fight. They were granted a restraining order against their grandfather. He had been accused of being physically mean to them. He stepped down as her lead guardian shortly after. But he didn't leave the circle of power entirely. He was replaced by an associate with many questions. This new person faced accusations of abusing others too. When you look at the timeline, it gets darker. There were reports of men being paid just to date her. Her children were used as leverage to keep her quiet. She was a prisoner in plain sight for 13 years. She couldn't buy a bottle of water without permission. Yet, she could handle the stress of 4 hit albums. She could endure a residency in Las Vegas for years. How is it possible for both things to be true? Is it possible she was being forced into it? The contrast between her public life and private reality is huge. Many celebrities have stepped up to support her. They saw what was happening behind the closed doors. Some fans believe the truth is still being hidden today. Why does the media seem so quiet about some parts? Maybe they are afraid of who holds the power. Maybe they don't want to rock the established boat. The facts we see on the surface are just one layer. When you dig deeper, the rabbit hole goes much further. It involves layers of contracts and hidden agendas. It turns out her father threatened to take her kids. He told her he would take them if she left. This was a tool used to keep her in place. She was being silenced by the people meant to protect her. It is a story of control versus freedom. It is a story of a girl lost in a system. Every time we see her face on a screen, it feels different. We have to wonder what she would say if she could. If she had total freedom today, what would she do? She would likely start by reclaiming her own voice. She would choose who she talks to and who she sees. She wouldn't need a gatekeeper to tell her when to speak. She wouldn't need a handler to manage her every move. The truth is that for many years, she was not free. She was a bird in a golden cage with no key. The keys were held by people who benefited from her silence. They made money off her talent while taking away her choice. This is why the movement became so incredibly powerful. People didn't just want her to be famous again. They wanted her to have her autonomy back. They wanted her to own her life and her image. The investigation revealed a web of influence that shocked everyone. It involved lawyers, managers, and family members all in sync. It was like a scripted play where she was the only actor. But she wasn't an actor, she was a human being with feelings. She had rights that were slowly eroded by legal papers. Every headline about her struggle was a cry for help. People started to see through the lies told by the experts. They saw that some medical issues were just convenient excuses. They saw that protection was actually a form of imprisonment. It is hard to wrap your head around how it lasted. For over a decade, this system stayed in place smoothly. But the internet doesn't forget, and it doesn't forget quickly. The collective voice of millions eventually broke through the noise. Now, we look back at those old videos with new eyes. We see the fact that she was fighting for her life. She was trying to break the chains that held her down. It is a haunting example of how power can be misused. When someone has everything, they are often easier to control. They become a brand rather than a person in the eyes of law. The legal system failed to see her as an individual first. They saw her as a commodity to be managed and sold. And that is why this story still haunts us today. It serves as a warning about what happens when we give up rights. We must always watch out for those who claim to protect us. Because sometimes, the person holding the key is the one in control. The truth came out in pieces, like a puzzle being solved. Each piece showed a different side of her struggle to be free. It took a global movement to finally bring some light into it. We saw the courage it took for her to speak up. Even when her voice was muffled by contracts and threats. She is a symbol of what happens when the system fails. She is also a symbol of what happens when people care. The Free Britney movement wasn't just about pop music. It was about the basic human right to choose your path. It was about breaking the cycle of exploitation for profit. We see her now, and we wonder how much she lost. How many years were stolen by those who didn't care. Now that she is out, the world watches closely. They watch to see if she chooses a different path. They watch to see if she smiles with real joy now. The mystery isn't just about what happened in her past. It is about how we respond to injustice when it happens today. Did you know that many of these details were hidden? For years, the truth was buried under layers of legal jargon. It took people searching for answers to find the truth. It took a movement to bring the world's attention to her. Now, she is a symbol of strength and survival in a system. She survived the cage and found her way back to herself. But we must never forget how it felt to watch her struggle. We must always remember that some things are not for sale. No person should ever be a prisoner of their own success. Every time we think about her, we see a survivor. She is someone who fought against the odds to find peace. And while we might not know every single secret she holds, we do know that the fight was real and it was hard. The journey from being a puppet to being a person was long. It took many people standing up to change her destiny. Now, her story remains one of the most complex mysteries. It is a tale of how the world can be very cruel. But it is also a story of how the truth can win. What do you think about this whole situation? Do you believe she was truly being protected or controlled? Was her family right to take over if they thought she was ill? Or did they just want to own her success for themselves? How would you react if your life was under someone's control? Give me your thoughts in the comments.